You had an impression that you don't jump there, but only to find, no. It's not here, but as you pass aside, then you take a little, let is this tradition. A digger. More we digger, we symbol again, this symbol is. But you find a few, and you go out and telling yourself, there was another one I knew, and I was just perplexed. This one says, this is who. And the wife of this somebody, the way he accepts, welcomes this man, who thinks is also a relative here, who thinks is also a relative here, and he thinks he's home, but the wife doesn't. One day, she was not aware I was there. They said, I'm sure no time to wash. And at least there are some other things that help you to reposition yourself. Now, I too, when I came there again, I'll always be okay. I am full up because maybe I'll get into that queue of the bush. Now, let's not be hypocrites. Sometimes it's good if we've wronged one another. Let's not shelf this thing. Because at times, I can do something unaware that I'm now trapping on the toes. You don't tell me it. And I need not to stay in the friendship of convenience or in a relationship of convenience. No, I must stay in a relation that is not of convenience, in a relation that is of conviction. I'm convinced about what? About you, and you're convinced about me. So that's important. That's why we are so concerned about this one, because it makes me not be real me. I must be real me. I don't scold my children like I do, but I don't say, because I don't scold them, change yourself. That is me. Sometimes I even think, who is my mean? Am I a foolish father? Sometimes my child, whoever, any of my children will come to me, really sorry. I think I'm patterned up that day. Sometimes I was not even aware. Sometimes I was not even aware. I was thinking some other thing, something else. Sometimes I didn't see that thing that wrong that she did. But I will always be very much happy with that. And sometimes let me let me, this is real me. I'm real me. Actually, I took a decision. The decision I took in the mid-80s, when there was this needless thing. The teachers were doing needless and set a light. Well, and I said, I stopped punishing children. I had to devise my way of punishing children. And then again, as I rose up with the levels of teaching, then these things happened, and then I had to devise my way of disciplining those kids. But the next thing, the thing that I want to say is that sometimes I will come angry and then throw my anger to my children and boil to them. Yet that anger I never threw to those children because I can't stick them. I can't punish them, give them some nudges. Then I come here home and I spill all my anger on myself. No. Dear God, help me. Since then in the 80s, by then I didn't have the children, but I was not having it. My first one is 89. So when I got my children, that time I said, Lord, teach me not to spend them uncalled for, but teach me to talk to them when it's necessary. Because sometimes, if now and again we are talking, you end up losing what? Losing dignity. They know. They even give you those names. When you call necessity, then it becomes, your scolding becomes irrelevant, will have no power at all. So, it happens, if it does happen, it happens. Well, more especially with my boy. With my boy, we don't have that one because the next thing, if he wants to address me, he says, Daddy, did you see something there in the book of Timothy? It says this and this and this and that and that. So I'm aware now, he's coming to me, and I'll also pick up something that, did you read there in the book of Timothy? It says this and this and that. He knows that I'm at him. That's how we communicate. And in some, we discuss it. Not that there's something wrong. He gives me that time in the morning. Actually, on Sabbath yesterday, but when did I come here? I come on Sunday. I did not issue what I was. On Monday morning, he went to my bedroom. And to start the conversation, what do you find? I'm not there. And the mom said, your friend is not in. Because sometimes you spend an hour, 2 hours just talking, and the mom is fed up now. She can't have a space, because that space is now is taken by this young man. Now the thing is, I'm saying, the concerns appear. That's really me. Sometimes my wife will be fed up. But now I looked at her because the boy is dealing with the real me, and I'm dealing with the real son of my boy. That is the real me. And my daughter has then with another daughter, not that one. That one stays, he works out, he's not with me. The other one, the last one, the 1994 one, he said, she has got a way of catching me, the real me. Then she comes, and she steps the mom and comes to me. In actual fact, my wife, she has got this thing of being a perfectionist of some kind. It's how it is. She's like everything. And she also panicked. If things are not good, she would panic. I think in my first 10 years, because we've been together since 1987. So, but we married in 1990. So, but you can count it. We have almost about 30 something, 30, about 34, 35 together. You know, at first, I could not master my wife. Later, after almost 10 years, I could see my wife. My wife will always put me on a panic mode, because she was. I remember Ngwenya. One day, the Greyhound dropped them there at Butterworth. I don't know how come she could not find the cars that were going there to Tanzania. Now I was in Greytown, and I was rushing for a meeting. The inspectors were coming, so they must find me at school. Then I slept in Greytown so that early in the morning, and there was an IFP whatever meeting there. The BNPs were almost full up. Now I'm receiving a phone call. She's there in Butterworth, I'm there. Daddy, I've got no transport. I'm stranded, I don't know where to go and what to do. Fortunately, there is a Ndisane. By that time, we were not neighbors. But the Ndisane family, they are not my neighbors where I'm staying now. I've moved from there. So that family loved me. In most of the things, they caught me for it, more especially when their funerals were whatever. So we then the Ndisane, the brother to the Ndisane, is there in Butterworth. He has got some businesses in Butterworth. So then I found the Ndisane there. The Ndisane took my child to the campus. I did not tell my wife that my son and daughter is stranded in Butterworth because my head was going to be flashing like a police car, like an ambulance, not know what to do because she wanted things to be done to her, and I have not yet. That's my wife. Then I mastered her. Such that we tell him other things that are so abstract after not less than 6 months. She knew that story because it was during holidays. She knew that story the following year. Okay. So my kids, they know that one, and this little one knows it more than the other because she's not one. So he should come to me if something is so crucial and we don't tell the mom. We don't tell her. It's not that I don't want to do things with her. It's because her person is a panic person. Her person is always on the panic mode and the perfect mode too. So I'm not a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Me, I take time. Even to anger, it takes time for me to be angry. It's not easy for me to be angry. I take time because I take things lightly, with the light heart. Accommodating. So now that's the sincerity, the you. We love you. You being the real person. It doesn't matter no. You, we love. If no elder, guys, let me just say this, these things we're talking about, they not happen overnight. They are a process before you come to that one. It took me more than 10 years. Even to know the cake my wife loves, likes. I would buy this and that coming. So I was working far away from home. Then I would have some things to just want to I don't want to say to bribe my wife, not necessarily, but to show that I'm romantic in a way, although I'm far away.
Yeah.
Up until one day, I don't know what told me, just to buy a fruit cake. When I came home, after almost 15 years, when I came with the fruit cake, I was the sweetheart, as if I was the sweetheart for the first time. Yeah, it was the sweetheart for the first time. All right, but is that, it must be you.
15 years.
Down the line. There is nothing in the lifestyle of the preacher that thunder to his hearers from believing, or which they can make an excuse for not believing, than sincerity. When we are sincere, that thing, it attracts. It even makes people to believe and take the gospel just because you're what? You're sincere. But insincerity, at times, that's why even my grandson, I don't promise. All the time she wants me to promise that. Give me the promise. It all depends to God. Then they say to my father, if he provides, we'll get it. Because I'm running away from the fact that he might end up not believing me because I don't keep what that promise. What? Okay, they believe the preacher because the preacher is believable. They believe the preacher because if you are sincere, they believe you because you are what? You are believable. What the preacher says is what? Yes, it is and are all of a piece. Such believers attract unbelievers. Such believers attract unbelievers, those who are sincere. John Paul wrote about sincerity in his book, A Today Sort of Evangelism. He says this one: the most effective preaching comes from those who embody the things they are saying. They are their message. You are their message, your own message. Christians need to look like what they are talking about. It is people who communicate primarily, not words or ideas. Television has drilled us all to watch for the hesitancies, the over-quick response. Television has played with the politicians straight. It has revealed the unrealities, case spinning, the artificial furies, authenticity, on the other hand, gets across from deep down inside people. The momentary insincerity can cast doubt all that has made for communication up to that point. You have to see today, people, they are fed up of politicians. It's not that they have not, but they are insincere. They are insincere. What they communicate is not what they do. they are hypocrites in one way or the other. And it's true. How can you send me to tell people that I'm going to be employed, yet I'm not employed? It's hard. It's hard. So what I'm saying to your message, the MK is crashing them like nobody's business. Because Mshinos comes as Mshinos, he comes as Mshinos, he's real him. He's real him. Whatever sector of people he addresses, they see him. Whether good or bad, then it must be you. And then it's a cherry on top when you're what? When you're loyal, when you're honest, when you're sincere. You know, these guys in television set, in our television sets, we spend all our attention to them. Because what they do, although it's not what they thought they think they should be doing, but what they do it all with them all, and they become the real thing that they. That's why it's not everyone given any role. And sometimes you must be careful that the role they give you, they are telling you that it's you and really it's you. There are roles that you must abstain from, because sometimes they even make you to be, and you become the real. Although it was not the real you, it becomes the real you. I wonder that woman who plays the place of Mam Kupos, that one, I wonder how they look at her, where in her vicinity where it stays. Because this thing, it tells you to be like it. And I think even Mr. Bean. He has said not even a single word. But he has turned the world. He attracted the entire millions with not even a single word. But I doubt his children are happy with him. I doubt. Sometimes they expect the father, when he comes to the home, he will be this. When he says, hey man, I'm serious, we find them. I don't know, because the language and I see objects know you. The real you, it portrays. Because let's not say Mr. is sincere in doing whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
He's sincere in doing this thing. Sincerely doing insincerity with sincerity. Then he tends to be that one. You're not sure if you learn the gospel. You may not like it, you can do it insincerely, but if you do it with your best level, you can be insincere and end up being sincere in your insincerity and be sincere at the end of the day. We never started like this. I remember Pastor Kos, you might have heard about Pastor Kos. Not this one, the Mandala one. Father Tutula. Father Tutula Kos. They want to call the wife to him. Happened to be my aunt. Right there in West Street, when West Street, in those glamorous times of West Street and J Street and Long Market, there in Durban, by OK, when he meets me, he said, Home Gaspar, come here. Just inside, right there in Durban, he would say, let us kneel down, we'll kneel down. Kneel down, start to pray, and my friends are around here, they did at me. Chief, what are your thoughts now? He started with those things. You sing first, you run away because you know there's that business. Right inside the town. There's Bob Malina too. Those guys around where I come from, they adopted that style of them. So they start, I doubt they just did it. They started bit by bit, insincerely, and it became their part. And they're sincere. And when you hear the prayer they're praying, you there in the midst of all those eyes, you see it. It's a powerful prayer. And even the others will stand and close their eyes. Have you not been invited? Just sincerity. We had I come from family. I had no way to run away from the gospel. I had no way to run away from the gospel. My grandfather was also what? The pastor of this church. I know we are that generation. By God's grace, also my son also the pastor of this church. By God's grace. Amen. So I'm saying, I'm just putting another equation in you. The negative has the power to what? To swallow a positive. And the positive at times has got the power to what? But what we should strive for, as I've said to you, there is sincerity, but there are those little things that decline and discount sincerity. Now, hypocrisy always repels, the integrity or authenticity always attracts. Now, you must have that one. Ukulunga kwakho njalo kuyokugayina ukuzenza ukusenzisa ukugayina le yakwazi kunyakunyana as you know, at times somebody might pretend to love you, doesn't love you, and he keep on pretending loving you, not loving you, and you keep on coming. He then understands he has no choice now. The choice is to love you because she has all the time maybe when you come, there's a problem. Now he needs a being. Whatever problem you have, you need a being to what? To take it out. Two. Then Ufi and Israel are full. Then you become the first is being closest because this thing now is vomiting to him or her. Then you begin to vomit you. Then you come with the advice. Then later on. Because as the time goes by, as things come closer and closer and come closer, and even an active person, in actual fact, there's no active person. It's only that you did not have attention of attending to that somebody. Because as you stay with the person who says is active, you begin to see some other virtues. And those virtues, they fade away that ugliness. You don't see anything ugly anymore. There's beauty that you see. What comes out there, it is healing. It is an antidote that you begin to love. I told the other guys, I don't know whether I told you here, we had a lady there by the name of Theo. We had a school in our GC, and we had a choir in our school in GC, always with a choir that would sing for us every day. They would uplift us every day. And Theo, the lady was so ugly. And we tell her, even today when she comes, I can tell, Theo, you are ugly. We would tell her, with no offense and with no shaming. And she would say, I'm ugly. I'm ugly. At the extreme of ugliness, I'm ugly there. You cannot find me here. At the extreme, not at the bottom, at the extreme, I'm ugly. Now, when is the music time? When is the music time? Wow, Theo, with that soprano. With that soprano. She was a big tall. She was, I don't know how she was arranged to the second row. Now, when we are there in the music competitions, at national level, at district level, whatever level, Theo will come and show up the ugly face. Yes. The ugly face, the audience, and even the adjudicators. I don't know what kind of art. Then Theo, because there is a soprano that you have hearing at the background, they could not understand where the soprano comes from. When he shows up, they see the group, they first, I don't know if they come forward, they, we're coming with a trophy. That's a trophy. She was a star. On Monday, we'll buy him candy square and sponsor. Those were big things. Very important things of the day. That was. The real her, she knew that she was what ugly. But what comes inside, it overshadowed that what was outside. She got married to a principal who loved music too. Their jealous. I think now the husband is retired. The husband loved music, And this one was a musician. The husband was a good conductor. But I could see that at home, they would sing handle whatever you think of those classical music. Even today, I still hear, I linger. The voice of Theo, it is still here in my ears. I don't know who is it. I was chased away. In standard 6, and the way I was chased away. You know, and when you are a teenager, now approaching the adolescence, and you are taken anyhow, hey, boom! With an F word from my teacher, with an F word. Get up! You talk! You are spelling my word. And we have 3 weeks towards the competition. And they were also cutting. And you know, I remember the song. It's a story in some. There's a portion that be mine, thou will be mine. And the second time we will not come that way. The second time we said, be mine, be. I went for the mine, that one. I put it here. Then I was chased away. That was the end of me and the end of music. That was the end of me and the end of music. I would be part of the choir. I'm sorry to interrupt. So then I became negative to music, the way I was changed. And thanks to what I was not hearing in the secondary, because I was heading to the secondary next year. Then I was chased away. Like Africans teachers, they have no time. But thanks to what I was good in Africans. I would help. I would help the class when there was a trouble. I would come up with the answers for the whole class. But I was not the one, but I was one of the ones in Africans. The talent, it has from me because of not using it. So that's why we're looking at this one, like this thing of integrity. But now we're looking at earnestness. Earnestness against integrity. Integrity is about the pretense. It's more of the pretense, you pretend. But earnestness is a zeal. It is for something, the zeal, the serious intention that is there when we are earnest. We have got a zeal. We have got that enthusiasm. But unfortunately, earnestness goes one step beyond sincerity. It goes one step beyond sincerity. To be sincere is to mean that we say and do what we say. It is about sincerity. You call it very, you just summarize it the right way. Am I correct? Yes. Sincerity is what we say and do. And what it means that we say and do what we say. But earnestness, to be earnest, is in addition to that. In addition to that, to what you say and do and do. In addition to that, it is to feel what we say.
All right.
Is to feel what we say. As a preacher, you must feel what you say. We must also feel what you say. As we feel what you say, we will not only feel what you say, we feel what that one who wrote felt when he wrote. Now, get into Paul. Earnestness. That's why for me, I would not love to. For Paul, I would say, at least let me be Philip. Because Philip, there's nothing more second about Philip. But Philip, there's only one thing that you know. You must know. He baptized that person. We are not setting an example of baptizing that Ethiopian. Not only that, he was an evangelist. Not only that, his children had girls.
Yes.
Yes, had girls.
Yes.
Had girls.
Yes.
They never married.
Yeah.
Okay.
They kept the gospel. Guys, I've started. Okay, let me say it again. Friends, let's make a way of I know, I saw where Philip was buried and where girls were buried. Let's make it, it's not, that mentality, guys, let's put it away. We said it, we need to know the word. Organize as children, whichever way you organize that you are going to Israel and you are going to Turkey. If you can start counting how much you do sleep in a hotel, you do go to Cape Town and sleep there in a 5-star thing in Cape Town. You can count and count and count and count, because going there is a question. You are taking this body, this carcass of yours, to another area and sleep, because even the charging is almost the same. The only thing that will cost you is the flying. Even the flying, the arrangements are that. So when you are there, you see these things. Because that man will tell you how these little girls were feeling. Because when we speak of a girl remaining pure, who is your sample? And these girls are our sample. You see, I even took a photo there. It was there's a cock. But the thing is, there's more. And your preaching is so lively. These waters, let's talk our sheets, our body, we part there. It's there. The church of Colossia is there down there, we could not finish there. But now, when I take the text and look at this text, there's more, because I've seen it and I know the setup. It's not that this thing that is thrown by some. No. This thing is grafted in my mind from the real thing. It's grafted in my mind from the real thing. Because when you see, another preacher was preaching here in Muna, he was talking of the Sea of Galilee. And he took it like in the Sea of Galilee. And I said, wow, preaching is different, because you cannot come up and ask a question to a person who's preaching. You take it as it comes. He calls it couples. The paint he was trying to, the portraying, the picture was trying to, it was out. That could not be the Sea of Galilee. And this thing of being a fisherman, you go there. When you drop there in Israel, the first thing, even if I can go back again, the first thing I will need to eat is the Peter's fish. The Peter's fish. There, in the Sea of Galilee, you cannot downgrade the Sea of Galilee and call it a couples. You know my functional couples will eat all. And then basically enjoy other couples as swamp. And you call the Sea of Galilee as a swamp. That's a tourist destination. Big lectures are there, even the what you call the boat that you think it was Peter's is there. You find it all. And remember, when we were there on the Sabbath, our first Sabbath there, we were there on the Sabbath. We were at the boat. And we conducted the Sabbath school at the boat. And the sermon, we were at the boat, basking at the boat. And we could feel what Jesus and the disciples were feeling there. And we came up refreshed. Not big sermons, but just to be there, where my master was. We went to Capernaum. Your experience. We went to that temple, to that synagogue, that church, where they wanted the entry fee from him. And said, Peter, go down and take it to the fish. You have something else now. Now I hate that. But I can't tell. I cannot say that in full I can tell about it, but I cannot say. But they tata the share to tata. And when they're preaching, they say, oh, it's just a swamp. Oh, it's not a swamp. It's the sea. Although it could be identified as a lake today. But take that mindset of the sea. It was the sea. Because by that time, Vasco da Gama and other battle bitters, they had not taken any road to anywhere. And there was no mind of going. And there were those there was navigators of the day. Those ones were there. 10, if you went from 15 to 20, the men, there are many talkers. And again, if you want to go for a company, don't go for any company, because you might have a company that will not give you the full substance. The other one we were going with, the first time, not the second time, but the first time, they were good. Because those guys were Jews. I still remember the name. He was Chenuch. Not the God of Afrikaans, but his name was Chenuch. But the other one, yeah. He would tell us everything. With the contemporary, with this thing, you go to these matters that are controversial. They took us to they call it, but it was a museum there, where we see all the children that were killed by the Holocaust. You get into something that is dark. You see all these children, they are there by their names and their age. They are there. And from there is another place where it's like a cinema. You see the Jews being butchered, the Holocaust, you see the Holocaust, and you can see why the Jews cannot easily forget. Therefore, mistrust the Christians. Because they were chased away by the Christians in Germany. On the way, they were never welcome. They went there. So that you understand. You see these Orthodox Jews, those where women, they don't wear short sleeves, they wear long sleeves. You hear the real story, not the story that is preached here. And women, put your whatever. Don't speak here, speak at home. You go there, the Jew will tell you. The problem was not with the women, the problem was with the men. That's why they were saying, when I remember when I fell in love with my wife, when she was still a girlfriend, when she speaks just over the phone, it was as if when she speaks, that voice, it will take me hamba pepalam. But that voice is normal anyway. I ran away from it today, but don't know about it. But what I'm trying to say, women, they've got that voice when they speak.
All right.
When they speak, it's not that they defeat men, but men have got that thing. When a woman speaks, the man goes down. He feels love. And he feels touched. Even in those areas that are not good at all, to be seen in daylight. That's a problem with men.
Okay.
Sure, that's it. The hairs. That's why they are wearing stockings. Because a little man, cannot withstand seeing your hairs. Cannot withstand seeing your hairs for a long time in a place, Western place, whatever place. Because his weaknesses, they go even beyond there. So now we are preaching now with the text. In right perspective, we have been told by those guys, their culture. Sure. So I don't pray. Since 2014, actually, those are the things I was not interested in touching. But since 2014, I can even preach those sermons when women and men are there already attached on me. Because this thing should not be heard. I even remembered when there was a miss there when I was doing Form 4 in 1975. She was still a teacher. She was so beautiful and also young. I was sitting at the back seat. I remember there was another boy who was Barnabas. I was young, but I used to sit with those guys who were, because I was a bit smart, they would like to go for me. So I was their reference. When this comes, when she begins to speak, they'll start talking. And the kid will ask, what are they saying? We're saying, hey, ma'am, you hit it. Hey, you're spot on. But they're not saying you're spot on. And the boy from another one, he was like Chief Jelly's. He was what was because we guys who were coming from about 40, 50 kilometers away. It was high schools were very few in those days. So they would say, yeah. The voice of a lady. That's why he was stopped. He's can't even speak here. You are confusing us. Because even if I wanted to say this, I don't want to displease you. Because there's something crazy that I say out of you. So that's it. And we go there, guys. We get the right. Because we get the feelings. Because it will help you to be only earnest is the zeal. Because sometimes those guys have a zeal to see the church in order, but their zeal is out of what Ezekiel said. It is deep feeling, and it is indispensable to the preacher. It is indispensable to the preacher. You know, you can hide things about you. But when preaching, there is one thing that you cannot hide about you. Especially when you are preaching the personal one. The personal one will expose who you are. It's where we can see the sheep and the wolf. It's where we can see the sheep and the wolf. It's a deep feeling. No man can be a great preacher without great feelings. That's what James W. Alexander Princeton says. You cannot. Without men, no man can be a great preacher without great feelings. For it is a matter of universal observation that a speaker who would excite deep feelings must feel deep feelings himself. He cannot arrive to your feelings. His feelings are not there. It's like this, guys. Or a person who always talk of pornography, I always take note of him. He get up with the pornography, she might have English. The pornography is in him.
All right.
And he transfers the pornography in him to you.
Yeah.
That's it. He has got deep feelings of this one. A preacher, an earnest preacher, a great preacher has feelings. And they are observed. We observed that a speaker who would excite deep feelings must feel deeply himself. Must feel deeply himself. Sorry for that. That's earnestness. Earnestness is not restricted to Christian communication, but every serious communication requires us to put feelings into it. We have got to put our feelings into what we preach. That's why that's why they say, ingabi umuntu overhooked. There's a difference between being hooked and watch. What do you feel being hooked is on? Because you become them when you are hooked in them. But you can look at those things just for observation and whatever education or you are taking, so that at times you have got a knowledge of such a thing. Don't hear these ones. Anyone? I love wrestling. Prof, I love wrestling. Wrestling was my enemy. I'll do the best I can. That in those days it was only 5 o'clock. By 5 o'clock I'm home on the weekends because I was always away from. But when my first grandson was born, I had to choose between wrestling and my boy. I had to choose.
There was no church board after.
Okay, my wife had to understand. There are things that we understand each other. Yeah, sure. But ever since then, even if I look at wrestling, even if it happens that I look at wrestling, it just comes by chance not by intention, when maybe I'm just there. But I scroll it very soon. I last watched a soccer match in '74. There was never a match played by Lamontville Golden Arrows at CG Stadium in Ngwenya that I never saw. I saw them all. But I last saw a professional soccer match in 1983. Being there in the stadium. Being there in the stadium.
That's called fishing.
Sorry?
I'm saying that's called fishing.
Now, and there are other things I've just refrained myself from immediately when I was employed as a pastor in 2008, because I am the face of the church. I must make it a point. I put no what? I put no riches for the church. Just simply imagine me. I'm there because now I'm also partially a parent player. You may read that partially. Because of Sabbath, I can't go there. But if it is it, then I go there. Then look at me, son. When I'm now naked up, and this Bala is busy drawing me, the Mabara thing reacting in me. Then when they play, and then you look at me, then on Sabbath, I'm up there, I'm preaching something serious. Would you see any seriousness in me?
No ways.
No ways. No ways. So there are things that I refrain from because they cost the feelings. The same feelings that I should use for Jesus.
All right.
And this place. But more especially in things that you are addicted to. But I'm afraid, right? But I'm contemplating to take my point to another one nation, so that he knows the setup there, whereby I will not be supporting anything. Even when soccer is playing, to be honest, when soccer is playing, the club that I like, so last time I'm still having that 7-1. Hey, I'm not sleeping well. At least it was from Pirates, at least. At least. So. So your feelings, the feelings are important. When you're preaching, whatever you are driving at, you need not to end with the feelings, but you must go, because the feelings, they go deep, they go to the mind, they go to the soul. They go to the mind and soul. Now, sleepy preaching sounds so ridiculous, and in such a contradiction in terms that we need to inquire into the origins. You see, when you have got that sleepy, monotonous, something that is not, that's why you put some stories there and there. You are trying to spice up, recook. There's something that you must eat very soon, because when you're eating the inside, the offals, whatever, you must eat them quickly, because if you don't eat them quickly, then what? Yes, they solidify a bit. Again, when people are listening, you must always quench, inquire, get into their feelings by simply putting those stories just to what? To awaken their interest. To reawaken their interest. And you are going, but the sleepy, whatever. You know, we had a teacher, she was good. I can't forget Miss Law. Miss Law, I can't never forget Miss Law. She was beautifully built. Not completely beautiful, but beautifully built. That's how the schoolmates would say. She's beautifully built, but not completely beautiful. That's how they would say it. When you're in school, it's what we go through. I don't want to tell you my names, I've got a lot of names. I know them, some others. They might take me off, but they never took me off. Instead, I count them. Sometimes I use them for for some reasons, and my own class will be awake and listen to what I'm saying. Sure. This will come. She was teaching us science. Osmosis is the movement of wire connection, no connection. Now it was always the Lala class, Lala period.
Oh, I can imagine.
And she knew that thing. The only thing we knew that we were going to do, we were going to write notes, and by that, after that one, we were going to clear the notes. Then we're done. Even if she wants to spend us, there was no way because we had passed the activity test. But sloppy sounds, they seem to be stupid, unyielding, unproductive.
Voice projection is important.
Very much important. Because even if you are talking nonsense, but just because of the voice, you are able to catch it. You know, there's a pastor that I like. I don't know whether you like that pastor. I like him even if he's not talking. That's something that is really scripture. I like that pastor. Because he's not far away from the truth at most. But the voice. Usekon amenabo. Escanela pushani kichina scanela. Do you know that pastor? S.P. Kumi. I know, I stand up and listen to that man. And in that man, there is something of substance that you are going to get. He might come up with an illustration. Sugar. He will take you and put you there. That's it. Because his voice touches. And guys, maybe let me just say this one. Tina is Ngwenya. But I'm frequently abstaining because you see, when we hear our grandfathers, but I'm not on the upper thinking, don't do that. But I'm saying how our forefathers were committed and immersed in the gospel. They were just dropped by a white man there. In the middle of nowhere. Then the white man will say, when I come back after 3 months or after 6 months, I'll be collecting the tithe. This pastor, man of God, is dropped with no money. Just that money. No place where to go. Now what I have heard is that the first thing they will do, they will look for Induna. Once they get Induna, then they will say who they were. I'm so and so and so and so and so. I'm the pastor of this, whatever. Then you'll get this place, the place to sleep, and the food. Pay nothing, you'll eat here. And the first person is going to convert it to this Induna. And at the month end, he will be asking for the Induna to give the time and offer me. Oh, yes. I'm telling you, God had his own way, and those people will fight for the listeners. Yes.
You know, having listened to you, Pastor, teaching, I'm wondering to say, as a church, at what time do we get to get taught these things? And who? Because I'm looking in our church setup, we have got a baptismal class, and myself, I left it there a long time ago. So I'm thinking, when are we supposed to be taught the things that we're talking about?
And still on that one, there is this thing you must ask yourself. If the year ends, the first question, did we have an effort? Before the year ends, did we have an effort?
What is an effort?
Attend, pitching up a tent and preaching to get people. We are in the business of what? Of preaching. We are the fishermen of men. It's a question that we must have before it's. Because if we don't do that one, it means we are not earnest with what we are preaching and with what we are saying. And guys, still, because it's part of being earnest, we are not earnest. That's it. In plain truth, we are not earnest. And in being not earnest, there's a lot we miss. Guys, I enjoyed my last 2 years, or my last person. I enjoyed it, and I exited in style. I felt it with almost having something baptism. Not counting the other parts of the thing. There was a time in November, I was running 10 efforts concurrently. Going that time, supervising there. Staying there. There's something that you miss. I go there. I don't sleep at my home. I sleep there with my preachers. There with the speaker that I've requested. I sleep there. We go house to house. Guys, when you go to house, you meet people. You revive a lot of people. I remember the other one. He was a preacher from Radio Badu. He was a big thing, but now no longer recognized. When I came in there as a pastor, we spoke those big, good old days. He was revived again. The family, the children could see that their grandfather was not this thing that they are saying today. He was this. Then to the other ones, they were radio. There was they were radio announcers. They were working for SABC. They were big things. But now, because retirement has this thing. The life in retirement, actually, there's one thing you must always prepare for is retirement. Because when it comes, it comes. And when it comes, it doesn't come in your own terms. When it comes, there's a lot that you wonder. I did not expect this. And don't change that. And let me just say this one. Even those who are teachers or in the government, this thing of 2 pots, I would advise you don't go for 2 pots. You better toil up to the end. Because with the 2 pot thing, you are destroying what lies ahead of you before you arrive there. And life will be miserable. It will be as if the Lord has shown his back on you. But thanks, because the Lord, when he shows his back, he shows his goodness, not the dark side of you. So these things we need, as I'm saying. Sometimes maybe I say it because I've got all the time to do that. Because I've got no attachment, whatever. Maybe the other pastors, but it's a thing that we should, and I'll try, these boys I'm with, I've said it. We should be having about 4 efforts there. But seemingly I doubt we have those 4 efforts. Because I'm still there. I enjoy it. And there's joy in it. You even meet. I meet learners I taught some years back in the 80s. My teacher, you are still fresh. I'm still fresh. You want me to be staying? I'm not being, I can't be staying. That's it. Because it goes with earnestness. Yes, we have kept you. There was a man, an old man, when he was about to die, he was 94. They asked him, why you didn't marry? They asked this old man. This old man said, in my life, I was searching for a perfect lady. Then the question is, didn't you find a perfect lady? And the man said, I found a perfect lady. But I wasn't perfect for her. She found me not perfect. And he added, there are things that will always not even bypass, that will bypass and overtake you. And you will find yourself in nowhere. You'll find yourself in no man's land. Then you must not regret of your past. Because the future is bright. But now you might find yourself regretting. 94, 91. Looking forward for Miss Perfect. There is no Miss Perfect. There is no Mr. Perfect. Now, the zeal used for wrong purpose. Here, we don't have the right zeal. I mean, we do have this. We don't have the zeal. But we might be sincere. But sincerity is not enough. It must be taken a step further by earnestness. Sincerity and earnestness is not enough. It must be taken forward by courage. Courage, earnestness, and sincerity, they are not enough. They must be taken forward by humility.
All right.
You are humble.
Oh, yeah.
It is your humility. If humility I can't stay without helping another person. That's why you have a heart. That's why you have patience. Because patience is also a byproduct of humility. Patience is also a byproduct of what? Of humility. Joy comes there. Often that was in this house also I mean. Now I'm going to show. Ingane zakhe. Uthi I was a nurse. Qualified nurse. But with red things. Uthi my husband. I love my husband. But my husband was too much of his own. You know those wives. He was not giving back money. She says, I had to leave nursing, that white collar job, that made me to appear important. Then, uthi ke ngase ngiyasebenza sekuthiwa yiba okay manje ngisho kwathiwa Adams abantu besithi ukuthi balada and I had to go and work with Adams. Then so that I can get time uthi wethu isikhathi uzabona isikhathi so la musayisho ngeke you know tshwana uyabona tshwana. Do you see it? River? For now, shoot the river. As we share, the Puma, Eosaves, but he had Gaiso, just before beating us. And they were laughing at me, because I had to be humble. I had to humble myself. Go down, guys. The gospel is that when you humble yourself, you do the things that you don't like. Listen for things. This house-to-house thing is like a fula to you. House to house. Then we say, okay, we pachelo fana wako mmeli. Ayo kenda bazamia ati mali yangu. Ata ni sorry. But it cost me to be humble. Because I was eager. She was eager. Eagerness. It is called that thing. The mind of an Nigerian, because you're eager, your mind's eager, your heart is eager. We have to have courage. Because we don't have courage. Let alone that we don't have time. There's one thing I like. I'm a person who is never worried about the number of people. Because I know at times some are not here. They've got what? Some commitments that are there. But they do give out money. That money, it goes a long way. That money. Because we have those. Because by God's idea, we can't speak of unemployment. By God's ideas. Because there are books, literature, evangelism. There are literary books from the church. You can be a cold water. But it needs zeal that we go out, we preach. Because Apostles, chapter 4, they start from chapter 2. In actual fact, the other guys will say, when the Holy Spirit fell on them, they were unstoppable. They were bold. never rude. They were good. Guys, there's another thing I learned that I did not know. Because they've come. There's something that I learned that I did not know. A professor stands in front of the classroom, teaching whatever comments, whatever. And he says, one of the things that he put to them, he said, there is a hot dog. Where can you sell this hot dog? So then it is bought. Like hot potatoes, it's bought. Then the student, they said, no, we can go for a place that is what, this and that, and then put it there and charge it R1 and put it there. They said very good things. And charge R1, that's the hot dog. Then he said, good, they were correct. Then he said, lastly, they said to the professor, tell me, where would you or could you open up a small shop for selling this hot dog? Then he said, I'll take this hot dogs to where people are hungry and charge 15 rand to where people are hungry. Then I remembered the shutdown. Do you remember how much was the loaf?
Yeah.
Do you remember how much was the loaf? Do you remember who was running to the spot was not a problem. But what is to know where people travel with their cars 20 kilometers, 15 kilometers, 10 kilometers to a place where there was bread. And they would queue for the bread at 50 cents, at 50 rand per bread, 60 rand per bread, when there's hunger. Even us, for our efforts, we have got to go. No wonder you see these guys who play with people. They put a big tent where people are starving, are poor. Because poor people, they always live. They want the hope alongside with them. So they go there. They are hungry for the hope, and they give them a hopeless hope, and they stay with the hope that is hopeless. Hope that is not eternal. You see these guys, James, Peter, they were just arrested. When they were taken out, they just went out. To the what? To the mob, to the crowd, to the 100 people. Then they began to preach. The first one, it was 3,000. On that one, I can't remember 4,000 or 5,000, same time. And even the rabbis, they took the gospel. Here, in big cities, not necessarily big cities, here also in big cities, but in some suburbs, you can't find these people. But make no mistake, house in house can show you who is hungry for the word of God and for the gospel. But now it needs us to be honest. I'm going to at least 3 hours. I'm giving myself about 15 minutes, then I stop that. The thought is there for everything. Yeah, because there was this, what you call, I wanted to pick up on this thing when you were, because we were sluggish, preaching without stamina, with no earnestness, with no vomit. Spurgeon says, it is dreadful work to listen to a sermon and feel all the while as if you were setting out in a snowstorm or dwelling in a house ice, clear but cold, orderly but killing. No wonder he pleaded instead for much heavenly fire and declared that even fanaticism is to be preferred to indifference. We even prefer somebody who is a fanatic, who will come up with fanaticism, because at least he's going to put fire. There must always be fire with the zeal. There are many more things one could say, but as I've stated out, you can see now, I'm wrapping it up with this thing. You can see now, we have a picture, you have browsed the things, you have seen, okay, I'll pick up, I'll choose the sermon here, I'll choose there, because of A, B, C, D, E, F. Then now, you have to sit down and go to a place, your own place. God, pray for yourself. God, instill sincerity. You pray for sincerity. You read, and you pray for sincerity. God, make me sincere to you. Make me not be a hypocrite. Yeah? Now, God, apart from being not a hypocrite, a real me, God, give me zeal. Give me zeal. Like the apostles, they had the zeal. Oh, give me zeal. And after giving me zeal, God, give me courage to step up. Give me what courage? God, after courage, let whatever I do, let me do it in humility. Jesus was courageous. When you read the book of John, it's the other book that when you read, Jesus, he takes no nonsense in the book of John. In the Gospel of John, in Matthew, he may be a soft Jesus. In Luke, he may be a soft Jesus. And also in Mark, he may be a soft Jesus. But when it comes to John, he's not. He was face to face, confrontational. He went to that woman at the well and confronted her. He went to that boy there at Bethesda for 38 years who had sinned. He confronted. Do you want to be what? To be healed? He confronted him. He was there, not mincing his word. Who else went to that woman of the Samaritan? And to the belief of his, I think it's in chapter 8, this one who was not seeing. And they asked him, is it because of him? Or there's something wrong his brothers did? He said, no, wrong. It's just for the wonders. Guys, there are things that we must accept, even if we get that grandson or granddaughter who has got that deformity. Take that deformity. It's a blessing because the wonders of the Lord might be seen there. There was a lady I'll never forget. I was in my 30s. There in Zim, there was a rain that was more than being cats. That rain was more than being cats and dogs. I don't know what is it. It was snow or whatever. That lady was pregnant who delivered her babies there in the tree there in Zimbabwe.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe, that's my belief, I don't say believe that one. I believe that the angels were the midwives.
Amen.
That's my belief. Because such a thing cannot happen. And it was pouring up there in labor. And for me, though that rain, it was the heat that was pacifying, cooling, what was. And for me, I believe that angels, because you cannot do this thing by yourself. By yourself. In that tree. And also in that weather. Even today, that lady is there in the Kenya book. They are even, the scientists are studying what happened that day. Even today, I think it's more than 20 years. Up to today, they are trying to make that study. They cannot find an answer. I like these Arabian things. There is a plane that went missing. I can't remember the year. It went missing. For some years, it went missing. 40 years later, they saw the aeroplane coming to an airport for a landing. Thank you very much for the witness. It came after more than 40 years with everyone inside, but all bones. They were just bones. Who was driving it? What God was saying. It was a statement. I can drive your life. I don't need you. I can drive your life. Up until go through these things, it's called them. This one's you go to YouTube, you go for the air crash investigation. Air crash investigation. You go there. I'm telling you.
Sure.
Wonders. I look at that. I look at the wonders there. There are many wonderful things, and you can see that God is in control. It needs me to do what we want. To be courageous. I'm learning it when I'm old. No, there's no accident in that. Good things you know more when you're old. And when you're old is when the Lord works with you. You rely on him, not on to your sons and daughters, because they are failures anyway. What is it that I can rely for to them? You know wonder, you see, when you see Daniel at the age, when he was 18, when he gave out the history of the world. Chapter 2, that was the history of the world. In chapter 5, when he turned 6, somewhere 60, whatever, this young boy sidelined because I could see this boy, he was thinking that one day when I become king, I want to do things like my father, I'm going to fire that man because he's a spoiler. We can't celebrate our ancestors freely because of that man. That's my thinking. I'm using British license. It's not me. Then, when he turned chapter 5, Belshazzar. Right. The old man was no longer there. But before that, chapter 6, before that, the boy had already started writing. But then came chapter 6. Chapter 7 is the dream. Now the dream that was given to him, it was not about the history of the world, It was about the history of the church in correlation to the history of the world in chapter 2. How old was he? He was around 70. Because God uses you in your wisdom. And your wisdom does not transpire when you're still young. Because when you are young, you still have a lot of aspiration. There are many things you aspire for. But when you're old and immersed in the Bible, he knows that there's one thing you're looking forward for. It's dying and seeing your Lord. And he says, no, you won't die, it's so soon for you to die and see me. There's still more to do with the experience I've given to you. No wonder in chapter 10 in Revelation, if I'm not mistaken, it's chapter Revelation, when John had eaten the book, had done it all, and the angel says, take the book and eat it. After eating, and he said, it is nice, it is sweet but bitter. But after that one, it said what? Go and prophesy. The old man was there in the 80s and 90s. It said, go and prophesy. So that one means what courage. That's the preacher we should be. But it all begins with understand. Guys, there are people who understand something that you will never understand. The first Wimpy, Mona, we had the first black-owned Wimpy. The first person who was given a franchise of a Wimpy, who was trusted by these white guys, it was Mr. Sabelo. Sabelo there, if you go there, he comes from Bungu, brother to those Sabelos, Charles Sabelo, whatever Sabelos. Now, his journey started with selling Ngwenya, the African beggar. His journey began there in the morning, selling Ngwenya. There is where his journey started. But he ended up owning stores, supermarkets, owning what? Owning supermarkets, owning taxis, and then opening a Wimpy. The first Wimpy in the Black Township, it was there at a Blazi H section. That was the first. And they turned into a bookshop anyway now. So where it began? It begins, guys, it's where you begin with laughing. There's glory in this thing. Just you tell yourself there's glory in preaching. You tell yourself there's glory in what? In preaching. There's glory in preaching. He exalted his person. So you go on and on and on. You go with this thing, you go with this thing. Then Lord, you see how good and gracious he is to us all. May the good Lord, the Lord of heaven, pilot us. Pilot us. Pilot us. Because last year upon us, but see us. We don't know, but what? We know. Now, John Hellman is social signatures. Utisha, why is for this and not for this? Or for this? Why TBT? When I became standard 1, Form 1, he said, no. He said, I'm doing Form 1. He would say, no, we're not doing Form 1. You are doing the first year of the junior certification. Then I learned when I'm in matric. When doing Form 4. I was doing the first year of what? Of matriculation. Guys, let's look ahead. We're doing the last preparations of our journey to heaven for a graduation day or for a day of jubilee. So let's prepare it. The requirement is that we come with others, not alone. You know, Jesus is so gracious. If you can look at yourself, just look at yourself. I'm looking at myself. Where he picked you up. I'm not saying you're not good, but I'm saying the family you are coming from. You know, Mrs. Keso, when I was there back in the 90s, I didn't have a license. The thing of having a car was never in my mind. Because if this thing offered freedom, we saw it as a dream. As a dream. But it did what? It came. It happened. It happened. Mona, I drove the car. I got the first license when I was 50 years old. Actually, if I was still in teaching, I doubt I would be having a driver's license. I doubt. But when I was a minister, I found myself forced. Driving with the learners and having Sister Jamini, she was not working. When there were things I'm doing because she had a license, I would have to go and pick Sister Jamini so that I would drive. Up until I got my license in October 2008. Then we go for death. I've said in my sermon, whatever happens into your life is not a trial. Have this thing. Speak Lord. You want to be your servant, what is listening. Amen. Any questions before or comments before we close?